Rivers State House of Assembly has given Siminalayi Fubara, governor of the state, 48 hours to submit a new list of commissioner nominees. In a letter dated March 5, the assembly led by Martin Amehule, Speaker, accused Fubara of illegally swearing in 19 commissioners without screening and confirmation by the legislature, which he said violates the Nigerian constitution. The lawmakers also alleged that Fubara made several other appointments into positions that legally require the approval of the assembly before assumption of office. The letter highlighted other alleged constitutional breaches, including the failure to forward the nomination of the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice to the Assembly. Other commissioners listed include Charles O. Beke, Collins Onunwu, Solomon Eke, Peter Mede, Elokata Siet Amadi, Basene Joshua Benibo, Tambari Sidney Bara, Ovi Chinedum Chukwuma. Others are Ilamu Arugu, Roland Obed White, Samuel Anya, Samuel Eyiba, Austin Emeka Nadozie, Israel Mbuelu, Evans BP, Otamiri Ngubo, Benibo Alabraba, and Emmanuel Frank Fubara. That another infraction of the law is the swearing in of Lawrence Okojaja as chairman, Ernest Ibekwe Ekwe, Mina Obanga, Iseleye Amakri, and Adokiye Oyagiri as members of the Rivers State Bureau on Public Procurement on Friday, 30th of August 2024 without screening and confirmation by the Rivers State House of Assembly, as stipulated in Section 4A of the Rivers State Public Procurement Law Number 4 of 2008. Others are Gift Alex Hart, Grace Osaronu, and Selina Ammonia as members, the letter reads. That the swearing in of Goodlife Ben as chairman, Emmanuel Jaja, Betty Walmate, Jerome Chimenem, Prince Ohochukwu, Philip Obaraji, and Christian Amadi as members of the Rivers State Local Government Service Commission without screening and confirmation, contrary to Section 44, subsection 3 of the Rivers State Local Government Law Number 5 of 2018 is another infraction. That these appointments by you that are highlighted and other appointments made but not mentioned here for the want of space that are not in consonance with the extant laws are not only infractions but are seriously threatening our nascent democracy, so should and shall be remedied. The letter still reads that the House requests you to submit a list of nominees for appointment as commissioners into the Rivers State Executive Council, as well as list of nominees for appointment to fill vacancies in all the offices mentioned above, or those not listed but require screening and confirmation by the Rivers State House of Assembly within 48 hours. We therefore urge you to act fast and do the needful by complying with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended and other extant laws in the best interest of the good people of Rivers State. Let me start with you, Zinami. What do you make of this story and this position by Rivers State House of Assembly? Zinami.
Okay, you know, the Rivers State Assembly, for me, in my opinion, must be commended for towing the line of peace, for giving the governor a second. Which I was privileged to read yesterday, has actually nailed the governor with issues of infraction by declaring that whatever Okojombo, Edison here, and what have you have done are null and void, and it has no consequence in law and in fact, and the judgments of the courts are enforceable anywhere around the world and in the country. And so the Amewule-led assembly need not to have written this letter or letters to the governor. But I see that this is an ample opportunity, and it's a space for peace. It's a space for having that good concurrent relationship between two arms of government that they have given. That, okay, please, this is what we have seen. We are asking you to do the right thing. And these things are well written down in our laws. And so the governor is now having the leverage and the opportunity to correct the wrongs he has done previously. And because this is a government, and the government cannot function without the stated rules and regulations as stipulated in both laws and acts of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so I commend the Amewule Assembly. This is maturity. This is maturity in place. And I wish that the governor and his team can hearken to reason, because the Supreme Court judgment is explicitly clear and unambiguous. And so let's commend the Assembly for doing this peaceful line and giving the governor even though he said he does not want to appoint anybody, there are some appointments that are constitutionally guaranteed. For example, are the commissioners. These appointments are constitutionally guaranteed and must be done. And so if you fail to say you will not appoint commissioners, for example, if there is a misunderstanding, then it means that you are going again contrary to the law, which is an infraction and which have consequences. And so the long and short of the story is that I commend Martin Chike Amewule, and I pray that with this open handshake that is given to the governor, things will be done right and we will not live in a pariah state.
Right, very well. Ora, what do you make of this story?
Yeah, first and foremost, you can't build illegalities on illegality. And that's a huge problem we face as a nation and as a people. We keep doing certain things and expect them to turn out right, when at the end of the day, what we are actually doing is the wrong thing. Now, like my colleague said, the most important thing for Rivers State is to have peace, for the peace of the people, for the economic prosperity of the people of Rivers State. But me, I think giving an ultimatum of 48 hours was rather hurriedly done. I think a week is a good time to give the governor time to come up with everything, in the sense that so that it doesn't seem like there's a pressure on the government, or since it's done in the process of peace. And I want to also say something, that commissioners and appointments are the functions of the executive. Government is divided into three parts: the executive arm of government, the legislative arm of government, and the judicial arm of government. Now, the executive nominates, and the judiciary and the legislature screens, and there's a reason why the legislative arm screens based on their oversight and what they do. Because one, they are the representative of the people. They are representing the whole people of Rivers State from different parts of the state where they are coming from. Two, one of the reasons why they screen these people is to do their oversight functions as legislators. And remember, they are also the lawmakers of the state, because it's the legislative arms that makes the laws. So this is very important, that even though the commissioners are a function of the executive, is an extension of the executive, because just like the president has ministers, just like a local government chairman, we have supervisory councillors. The executive arm of government has that extension. It has that extension among all the arms of government, for the president to appoint people on his behalf to function on different ministries and parastatals. People he believes, people he trusts that can do that. Now, the important part of why the legislative arm does its oversight job, to make sure that these people are the right people, is to make sure that are these people guaranteed that they qualified, irrespective of the fact that the executive arm has nominated them. Are they qualified? Do they suit the purpose? Do they have anything that will be an embarrassment to Rivers State? So when the legislative arm does that, now those people are cleared. So it's important, it's imperative that the legislative arm carries out its duty. like they are requesting because the court has said so. And we have to see ourselves in this country as a country that respects institutions. Because part of the problem, even the Rivers State problem, is that we are a country that look at strong men rather than strong institutions. So we always have strong men strangling our institutions instead of our institutions creating order and law for both strong and weak to come under. And until we change this concept in our society, we'll continue to have the bad men we find ourselves into. And unfortunately, as a Rivers person, all these close bars only causes one thing. It doesn't allow Rivers State to go to its full potential.
All right, very well. Now, you said that 48 hours is actually quite hasty. 48 hours would be quite hasty. One would wonder, like, if you say, for example, that 48 hours is quite hasty, you recall that an ultimatum actually expired yesterday, and that was a 48-hour ultimatum for the governor to present the 2025 budget. Now, the governor is saying, I did not receive that notice. However, the courier company has also said, we actually sent it, but they refused. They read it, but refused to accept it. No, not even acknowledge it. They rejected it and said we should send it back to whoever that sent it to them. So that's on one hand. That shows clearly the governor's refusal to adhere. Because now you're talking about strong men strangulating institutions.
Exactly.
Now, in this instance, now we have a strong man, the governor, who said the legislative arm of government, this is what it is. And he did not appear before them to present the 2025 budget, understanding that the 2025 budget had previously been presented to a three-man fora, right? And so that budget is there. It's just to pick it up and go do the needful. But that wasn't done. And in this instance, if you say that 48 hours again is quite hasty, right?
No, this was
you said
hours for something else.
Yes, now, yes. I'm saying if you're saying this 48 hours again means there is another 48-hour ultimatum. If you say it's quite hasty, one would say these persons in these commissions, in these agencies are already there, but presented to a fora that is not considered legitimate by the law. And the Rivers State House of Assembly is saying, bring your list. Now, the Rivers State House of Assembly is not saying they are sacked and all of that. He said, bring the list of the persons you choose. So he can actually choose to still forward the names of these people to them, and then let the Rivers State House of Assembly say, no, we are not going with them.
Okay.
Right? So if you say it's hasty, is there anything in this system right now that...
Why I say that? It's a personal opinion.
Okay.
I am not imposing an opinion on the government of Rivers State, or neither am I opposing an opinion on the Rivers State legislative arm. I'm just saying, for the fact that we've come to this stage where it's obvious that the law has brought back between 7-man and only-led House of Assembly. The law is the law. We have to be a country of law and order. The point is, whether the law favors you or not, it's the law. Now, the Supreme Court has said this. For me, with all the plenty goes bars, I've been hearing a lot of things we are going to talk about today on the media to show a sign of goodwill and good faith, just like my maintaining peace. You can give them extra time. So that I put that for purposes of reference. So that when you've exhausted the opportunities, whatever action you take in the eyes of the people and the eyes of the law, everybody will see that you have exhausted the opportunities you've used to try to create the best scenario for these things to be settled. Because at the end of the day, it's a political issue. Political issues all over the world are settled one way or the other. Nigeria is not different from any part of the world. But it's the actors that either makes it escalate or allows it to be settled. So now, what I would say is both sides should find a way to settle this. Whoever loses out, take it like that. Maybe you were winning yesterday and today you're losing. It's how life works out.
Very well. I'll still ask you further questions on that. now that governor has been given 48 hours, if the governor feels the timing is too short, one would say the right thing to do is to write the assembly for an extension. The assembly has done their part, and that is to give him 48 hours. Now, one would expect that the governor will write to the assembly and say 48 hours actually is too short. Probably, I do not want to continue with the existing commissioners that are illegally occupying these offices. I want to probably reshuffle my cabinet, or I want to make fresh appointments, and I need more time. Right? That can be done, don't you think? That can be done.
Exactly. That's why I said what I said. If the governor and his team, they are watching the TV this morning, I'm actually giving them a hint. Like, if you've not thought about this before, why not think about this now? You know, the problem in River State politics, something that I've seen play over the last couple of years, is that River State is I'm proud to be a Rivers person. When we were growing up, we pride ourselves as among the states that are smart, that have decorum, guarding city. You know, there's something special about River State. But I noticed the trend that I wasn't comfortable with this past 10 to 14 years ago in River State. We still having more political jobbers, people that want to say the right thing to be in the right place, instead of thinking about the future of River State. And I think that's a problem too around the people we have, the political actors in River State. They have a lot of people around them that have personal interests, that their interest is not in the leadership or their principal succeeding. The only success that they see of their principal is what they gain, what they benefit of their principal. And it's high time in River State politics we sit down and start looking at political jobbing. It's becoming very, very serious in River State. And it's making us lose out the content of real governing.
Very well.
River State getting to the direction it wants to.
Okay, very well. Zinami, now when Ora was speaking, Ora talked about the fact that it is quite hasty, I mean the 48 hours timing. But then you recall that in the first ultimatum that was given the governor, the lawmakers mentioned that, you know, these actions have to be expedited, you know, in order to get River State in good standing with the Supreme Court judgment, so that allocations can be released, so that Rivers people, particularly civil servants, wouldn't have to suffer so much.
That's the point I wanted to raise.
Okay.
And you have already mentioned it, because you see, while I agree that in a normal situation, 48 hours is a hasty position to take, I would digress on this particular issue, because it is not today that the Supreme Court invalidated Kojombo and whatnot. Sorry, the Court of Appeal or the courts did that. And a court judgment is enforceable until it's set aside or there is a stay. No stay was gotten, no judgment was set aside in with respect to the budget and whether Amewule and Co are the rightful members of the House. The judgment of the Court of Appeal was subsisting. It was not this year, it was not 2025, it was 2024. So 24 hours, it is even a more bigger grace to the governor to respond, because from the moment the Federal High Court gave that judgment, this judgment became live and effective. It got to the Court of Appeal, it became live and effective. So you don't have to wait for the Supreme Court to say it before you begin to implement. You should have implemented from the Federal High Court, unless you have gotten a stay, or unless the Court of Appeal have set it aside. But all these were not done. And yesterday, on the judgment of the Supreme Court emphasized that the court judgment is effective until it is set aside or on there is a stay. So there was none of this. So you can see that these irregularities, these illegalities has been baptized by the governor and his executive team right from 2023. And so giving them 48 hours is something, I think, it is just, you know, from we call it the widow's heart of yes, you know, for hey, come again, please. You have taken a year plus with a lot of infractions. So it is not. I don't think that there's any haste in there. And to crown it all, this is the position River State is at this moment. Choma is save our soul. SOS. Government is grounded. No funds. No proper governance. illegality upon illegality. So we are saying, come quick, let us begin to amend all these things so that the people can see that government is ruled under the laws and regulations of this country. I think that is the position I would take. That is the reasonable thing to do.
All right.